Hello and welcome to the Inner Gamer On. My name is Brett Yanofsky.
I'm Austin Morales.
And I'm Dane Batesel.
Hey, welcome Dane. Welcome
Thanks,
back.
yeah.
Like having you on here.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're going to talk about achievement hunting. And like achievements have been around for a while. I think Xbox
Yes.
started the achievement thing, the achievement game with the gamer score
Yes.
that everybody's all about. That's like the life that
Man.
people live. And then PlayStation was like, well, I don't know which came first, trophies and PlayStation or achievements, or collectible cards and Steam. I think trophies came first, but I didn't really
Makes
ever
sense, yeah.
realize
I
that
think
PlayStation had them. Did they have a PS3? Does anybody know?
It was PS4.
I can't
I
remember
think
if
it was
they
just
had them or not or
PS4,
not.
I
Okay.
believe.
Was it really?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Someone will know.
It was just like
yeah.
they've always been there somehow.
Well,
Some
now
form of
achievements
fashion.
are everywhere.
Maybe they're on
And-
PS3 for a little bit, but not at launch. It wasn't at launch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm
Well,
wrong. I
yeah.
don't know.
So we're going to go through three parts of this. We're going to talk about why do we hunt achievements? Like, why is that the thing that we do? We're going to go into what type of achievements exist in games and why. And then we're going to finish off with some of the hardest achievements that we've ever had to endure. Some more than others because, like, I don't hunt achievements. So that's where you guys will come in and talk about all your awesome achievement hunting. Because I know Austin, like, hunts them all the time. He's, like, all about those achievements. He's like, I got 100% this right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, jump into the first part. So why do people hunt for achievements? So let's kind of talk about that.
Don't look at me.
I want to open with Dane because I feel like you're probably the one that's because you've been working with Xbox for a long time.
Yep.
So like when achievements came out, like when did you start hunting achievements?
So I started hunting achievements, I think, when the 360 came out, because I think that's the first that I was aware of them. And I've kind of always been a completionist in the first place with the games. Anytime there was collectibles or side content like Grand Theft Auto or GTAV as I call it. It's my favorite game. No one knows what it is. GTAV.
There's actually a game called Grav that sounds like that.
Oh, that's fun. Getting all the stupid pigeons or going and doing all those side missions. I always would do that. And once the achievements came out to Xbox, at first I wasn't really that interested, but then I started, I'd beat the game and then I'd be like, wow, there's still some achievements to get. And so I would start focusing on getting all those achievements. And it just kind of started from there. So really from the 360 is when I started building my gamer score and working towards that. I think it's kind of a completionist thing. It gives you something to kind of shoot for with games and have a continual goal and a mission to accomplish. Some people don't care and they just want to play the game.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's kind of how I like. There was a time when I was younger. I think this shifts a lot. Like sometimes it sticks with people as time goes on. Sometimes they kind of lose that side of it. Because I remember when we were younger, and I feel like this is probably why achievements were even created in the first place. Is that when you're playing a game at, you're not working yet, you just go to school, come home, play video games, like. And also money's tight. Like you buy a game, you want to get as much out of that game as you can.
Yeah.
So achievements are like begging to be achieved because you're sitting there, you're playing the game and it's like, okay, I finished the game. What do I do? Well, you got all these achievements you can get that will increase your gamer score, give you that little like gamification, short-term, instant gratification, Yes. The short-term satisfaction. And that like is exciting. Like you get that little blip and it's like, hey, achievement unlocked. You get that little message that pops up and you're like, yes, this is great. But then as time goes on, like for me, I stopped doing that because it was just, I barely can finish a game now anyway. So like sitting down to then try and also get achievements to unlock is really difficult. But I do see that sense of like challenge that's there. Like if you like challenge in a game and the game may not give you that challenge, but then if they have an achievement that like adds more challenge to a game that may have been like just mediocre difficulty, like I can see some kind of enjoyment to that. Like, oh man, I made this happen.
Yeah.
And this
Is that how you feel?
Yeah.
When you complete some of the stuff?
I think it's great too because it keeps record of you doing these things. So it's like we could say, oh, I found every collectible in GTA 3. It's like, oh, really? Prove it. Like, well, no. But to have the achievements, like, look, I did that. It's on my achievement list or whatever. And I will say I do kind of like how PlayStation did it a little bit differently, because when you do 100% the game, you get the platinum trophy.
Yeah.
Whereas Xbox, it don't really know that you've completed 100% of a game. So,
interesting.
I do like a little bit about how PlayStation implemented it. But by the time that came out, I'd already been extremely invested in the Xbox. And I think early on in the console life, having that side content to a certain extent of achievement hunting gives you something to do while you're waiting for other titles. Like you guys said, now it's impossible to play everything out there. It's being an achievement hunter is almost a detriment to going out and playing a lot of great games, because you're going to be spending an extra, I don't know, it depends on the game, but 20, 30 hours in a single title that you could be using to spend on another title or view or try different game types or titles out there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the types of achievements that exist in the games. And I hear this kind of argument back and forth a lot, in that some people don't like the achievements where, like, say you were playing a game like Telltale, where basically you finish a chapter, you get an achievement. Like, that's like super easy and there's no challenge there. And I think some of the interesting parts of achievements is that, like, one of them, maybe like when I was mentioning before we started the cast, was Arkham Asylum, where you had to go find these Joker riddles all over the world. Like, it allows a developer to get a player to explore this world that you painstakingly created for so many years, to actually explore that world. Whereas normally you wouldn't do that, maybe if you're just following the main story. Yeah. So
and
there's some value there.
I think some developers do a much better job of this than others. Like, Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2, or all the Mass Effect game, all had great achievements, because they had achievements for completing the game on any difficulty, but also on the hardest difficulty. And they also had achievements that were geared towards getting you to play a certain way. So doing a certain number of kills with biotics. You could play through that Mass Effect and never use a biotic skill. But if there's achievements, you'd be like, oh, wow, that actually is pretty cool. I would have never played through this game like that. So I think it depends on the developer, but having a mix of those different kinds of achievements. Some developers just make an easy achievable game. It's like The Simpsons, I think. People used to make fun of that one, because it's like, press the button and you get like a 20-point achievement. Like, press start at the beginning of the game and you get an achievement.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's not really an achievement.
Yeah.
And people, someone had their dog get an achievement for them and created a gamer account for their dog so that they could get an achievement because the dog actually pressed the button.
I mean, I think when things like this happen, it's just like, it's a trend. It's just like, well, we got to have it. So whatever, press start.
Yeah.
Hit jump. Kill the first boss.
Yeah.
It's like things like that, which don't really mean anything, I think. It's just like you're going through the game. Because that's what when I first started noticing them, it was an Xbox, but it was more of when Steam would do it. And it's like, oh, you beat this level. Here's a card or something. I'm just like, why do we need this? Why do I want... No, I don't want this. Like, how do I turn these notifications off? I don't want to see them. They're menial, at least in my mind. The games I was playing, and it's just... There's more than annoyance than anything.
It seems like there's definitely a certain kind of people that are into it and people that completely ignore it. And it's nice that it's optional, that you don't have to be forced into it. But if you want to have that option, you could do that. So I think that in some instances it is rewarding, especially if they are meaningful achievements. If it's just press the stupid start button, that's pointless.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's actually something cool and challenging and unique, that's a different thing.
Yeah, I heard there were some really crazy achievements that you can unlock in, I think in Super Mario Odyssey, that you had to do some double, triple, like if you want to 100% the game, like there were some weird ways that you had to approach certain like scenarios to get to something, as opposed to just like doing the standard way of getting there. That was really different. So I want to talk for a second I asked Reddit on the Xbox subreddit, what is the most unconventional achievement you've unlocked? And I got a couple of them that I thought were very interesting. One of which I forgot about. The other of which I never even knew was a thing. Half-Life 2, there was an achievement called the Little Rocket Man, where you had to pick up a garden gnome at the beginning of the episode and carry it through the whole entire episode and stick it to a rocket at the end, launching it into space. You can't hold the gun and the gnome at the same time, or hold it while driving. So there's a lot of juggling involved. So this was submitted by Thurimbus, and it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, I have that achievement actually. Yeah. So it involved, I believe, from what I remember, picking up the gnome. It was just a prop or an item in the game, picking it up with like a gravity gun or holding it, and then every time you have to battle, you have to put it somewhere safe. And there were some instances where if you do it the wrong way, you could drop it off the map or where you wouldn't be able to get it anymore. So you had to be like careful and plan through how you're going to carry this gnome throughout a large part of the game.
Yeah.
It's like most of the game.
I can imagine driving like he said, I mean, yeah, he had to put on the car and like balance it on the car as you're driving through driving missions, probably running from like head crabs and shit like that. Yeah. It's like, no, I don't want to do that.
And so that is an example of like a really cool achievement that's like fun to do, you know, and I think the good thing is being able to share it with other people. So like my Xbox gamer tag is Dane Wayne. So I've got all my achievements attached to that. And there's some websites that kind of allow you to keep track and see what your score is. So
I don't even know what a good score is anymore because it's been around for so long. That's another thing that's kind of weird about the gamer score is that it's just like a number that keeps growing over time. And the more games that come out, the more it gets like you were saying with like platinum. Like it's nice you can say, okay, I platinum this many games.
Sure.
With the gamer score, it's like it's just you get a bigger number over time.
And that's the thing that's interesting with it too is my gamer score is like 110,000, and it's basically been about that for several years now because I've kind of stopped doing achievement hunting for several years. But you know, 3 or 4 years ago, that's a pretty good score. You know, I've completed like 49 games, 100%ed like 49 games out of about 140 played.
So wait, how'd you figure that out? Was because like they don't have the platinum thing. Did you just have to go through the list and see?
So there's a website, trueachievements.com. Okay. I had to go and it tells you how many you've completed. They also started adding like DLC achievements, and so that complicates it too. So you could complete the core game, but then also have to complete the downloadable content. I mean, most games are typically 1,000, and that's how Xbox typically worked. They've gone away from that a little bit, but especially with games like the Master Chief Collection, I think that one has almost 6,000 gamer score in it. And
wow,
there's some impossible ones in there. Pretty much. I mean, not really impossible, but you know,
seemingly impossible.
Yeah, like are you all familiar with like the Lasso playlist, Legendary All Skulls On with Halo?
I know of Legendary All Skulls thing, but not Lasso.
So they've put that as an achievement into the Master Chief Collection, as they have playlists where I think you have to go through the whole game on Legendary All Skulls On to get that achievement.
Wow.
Like 6 people have it. No, I don't know. It's like 100, but maybe it's just one mission with the All Skulls On Legendary, but it's a pretty crazy achievement. So I know that they have it for each game. You can get that achievement going through Legendary All Skulls On, which, you know, the only way you used to know people did that is they'd put videos or, you know, post about it or show their completion records. But
wow.
See, I used to really, during the 360, like I would care a little bit because, you know, I'd see my friends with their gamer score and stuff, but I'd be like, mine's higher, obviously, because I played more games. So I took pride in that. Like, I know I've played more than you in just general. You know?
I will say there are several Lego games on my score that I've completed. Those are on the easier side to 100%. So there are a few of those snuck in there. But, you know.
I've listened to Greg Miller talk about his stuff and how he actually 100%'s a lot of games, surprisingly. He's always looking for like those easy ones to get. And I'm pretty sure he's done a few of those Lego ones.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's funny that people look for easy games to finish just to rank up their score. You know, I'm just like
a pride thing or something like
there's,
that.
One of the early achievement hunting games on the 360 was like an Airbender game where if you play the game for 5 minutes, like it's like 5 achievements. You just have to unlock like a 200 hit combo. So in the very first battle, you just mash the button for about 5 minutes, and then you've got 1,000 gamer score, and it takes you 5 minutes to do that. Instead of like trying to complete in 100% some of these other games that take forever or hours or whatever.
Right. So if you got to a point, sorry, if you got to say
no, go for it.
If you got to a point where you just like, I don't even care about getting this achievement anymore.
Yes, I do. So one of the things that infuriates me too is when I have like 49 out of 50 achievements, or I'm one achievement away for certain games, and it drives me up the wall. And perfect example of that is Battlefield Bad Company. I have 49 achievements. The last achievement is unlock every ribbon in multiplayer. So not only do you have to play a ton of multiplayer, you have to basically like one of the ones is you have to get like 50 road kills with a boat or 50 road kills with a chopper or something like, or 50 survivor medals, which you only get from helping your squad or things that take hours to do on its own. So you either find friends that want to boost that with you and just sit under your boat as you run over them for like an hour, or you try to do it organically and naturally. And I tried so hard because I played a ton of Battlefield Bad Company to like get all of those. And eventually I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm out. It's not going to happen. And then I'm sure Bad Company 2 came out. So I was like, all right, fine, move on.
That whole 2-3 year development, you were just like,
We used to do that back in the day, I think in 1942, and then Battlefield, one of the other games. But like we had a server that we would manage for a little while, and that would be what we would do. We'd have 3 or 4 of us get in there and just like help each other get the achievements and run each other over a bunch of times, shoot each other a billion times, and we'd like tweak it to where we could like, spawn in the same area or whatever. So you won't have to worry about having to like go across the map to find somebody. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I've boosted a few achievements. There were a couple in Halo. I've completed most of the Halo games. I think the last one I completed was Halo Reach, but Halo 3 had some tough ones in it. They were very specific to multiplayer. And like one was like get a triple kill in I think a free-for-all game or something with an energy sword. Really hard to find the right gameplay and even matched that has a map with the sword where you're in free for all and get people who suck enough that they're going to actually have 3 people together. And like, I got so close to getting that. Like, I got a double kill and I swear I lunged at the guy for the 3rd kill and he killed me somehow. And he didn't even have a shotgun or anything, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I swear I had it, but I didn't. So
I wonder if there's ever been a moment where like developers were like, come up with this really outlandish, crazy achievement to put in a game that they know is unachievable, but they put it in there just to like watch and just laugh at basically trolling players trying to get this achievement unlocked.
I'm pretty sure that Microsoft had like very specific guidelines when they created the achievement system for them, and that I know that that's not the case, but there have been bugged achievements that never unlock. So that's been a problem that's happened too. Where
for someone like that, that's got to really suck.
Or ones that are really hard to track. There was one of the first games I started achievement hunting for was like the Medal of Honor Airborne Assault. It was one of the. It was a weird. What's that, Call of Duty or something?
Medal of Honor Airborne.
Yeah,
just Airborne.
Yeah. And one of the achievements, and this is the other thing that was infuriating about early Xbox, is you had achievements that were worth 0 points, but they still counted as achievements. So there's one for pretty much winning every map, every play mode, or something like that on that Medal of Honor Airborne. And the problem is, once you get a few years out of the game, no one's playing anymore. And so not only do you have to like come first in every map on every type, you have to figure out which ones you've done. You have no way of knowing what you've already accomplished or which ones you've won on. So I tried that for a while and I gave up. I was like, okay, I don't even know what I've done or how close I am. So I could be like one map away, one victory on one map from getting a stupid 0 point achievement and 100%ing that game too. But I gave up.
I want to bring up one more before we move on to the next section here. Ryan Has My Heart on Reddit said that he was doing an achievement in Halo CE Anniversary that required you to complete the longest mission in the game, 2 betrayals, on one of the hardest difficulties without killing any grunts. So it wasn't too bad, but it was a cool achievement. So I asked him, I was like, so you fight the big brute characters and never have to kill a grunt the entire time? Like, how would that work? And he's like, well, a lot of the mission had you fighting the Flood as well. Killing an elite, the grunts nearby would go in a frantic panic, I guess, and fear. And then they start shooting you, so you had to like get out of the way really fast. So you did that right.
I think I did that one. I don't remember because it was a while ago. But I've started playing the Master Chief Collection again, which is all those Halos as they've been released. The problem is if you've already gotten the achievements, you have to do it again. So I've already gotten a lot of these achievements. I'm having to go back again and beat par time and par score. But I'm finding now what a lot of people do that speedrun Halo or play through Halo a lot is they use a lot of the game's mechanics to despawn a bunch of enemies to make it much easier to do. So a lot of the speedrun playthroughs, a lot of the legendary like all skull on tricks involve manipulating the map or manipulating the game to despawn enemies or skip through stuff. So one of the ones that I just was trying to learn how to do recently is called the Keys Bump on the map Keys on Halo, the first one, where if you break one of those like shield barriers, those deployable, like the half moon shaped things. Yeah. If you break it and then you stand on it in a specific spot, it shoots you up through the ceiling and you get out of the map. And then you could basically jump your way backwards across the top of the structure of the map and get into the room where Keys is and skip pretty much the entire map. And so you can beat it on Legendary in like 7 minutes.
That's amazing.
By just basically manipulating that. The problem is it is so specific, you have to line it up within like 2 or 3 pixels. And so there's video walkthrough on how to do that.
Yeah.
But like you have to.
Dang. Who discovers this stuff?
I know, right?
Yeah. So there are like tons of like even Halo 4 has ways that you can despawn a lot of the enemies on a lot of the levels and skip it to make it a little bit easier. But still it's tough to do because you do have to kind of beat the game on Legendary and you can't despawn everything.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the hardest achievements that there are to get. And Austin, you polled Reddit this exact question. So tell me some of the things that people...
I just asked them why they achievement hunt. I didn't ask what was the hardest.
Okay. Well, you have some of the hard ones, right?
No.
Okay. Never mind.
I don't have any of those.
I thought you asked them the hardest.
I think I did, but no one said anything.
Oh, okay.
It was more of like, why do you even achievement hunt? Because I think it's stupid.
Cool.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
What do they say?
So this one was actually really nice. I have a completionist personality. This is Philip MCC.
Okay.
I have a completionist personality, so that generally helps me with motivation to get the achievements. But one of the reasons I like doing them is because it gives a bit of purpose exploring a game's full assets. Prime example, Skyrim. Taking away all the story-based achievements, you have quite a few that reward you for exploring the world and completing side quest lines, in parentheses, Thieves Guild, etc. This means I can play the games I like with a purpose other than just grinding at skills to 100 or whatever. I've even had experiences with achievement hunting has made me like a game I'm playing more than when I started. Tales of Vesperia, I don't know which one that is, was an awful game when I started playing it, but then I tried getting the achievements and finished the story, but at the end of it, I loved it.
Nice.
So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But for me, like, if I like a game, like, I'm going to explore a lot of it.
Yeah.
And, I don't look at the achievements list because I don't give 2 flips, but I mean, I know, like, I feel like I'm getting into some, like, the meat of it when I'm exploring and like those things start popping up. It's just like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a way to keep track of like sometimes what collectibles you do. Like the Breath of the Wild game, if it didn't have those stupid Korok seeds, you wouldn't see like 95% of that game. And it's a very beautiful game. And I think that helps. They don't have achievements, but still, if you're kind of a completionist, you probably are going to go find all those stupid seeds anyways.
Right.
And it's nice to like have that little thing in there, but it's just a kind of a different way to get people to do achievements. But I've got some of the hard ones that I've gotten. If you want to talk, do that. So
go for it.
Some of the games I've 100%ed was like Dead Rising on the 360. That one was really tough.
The first Dead Rising?
Yep. Mass Effect 1 and 2. I'm missing a couple achievements on Dead Rising 2, and I'm not sure what they are. I think it was like the co-op based ones.
Gotcha.
Mass Effect 1 and 2. Of the Halo games, I've done Halo Reach, ODST, Halo 3, and I think the remastered CE. 100%ed the first Borderlands. Did both Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, which that was pretty challenging because they wanted you to do a lot of, kills, multiplayer kills with the different, types of enemies and stuff.
Dang.
And beat through like all the campaigns on Expert. That one, like I remember Left 4 Dead 1, that campaign on Expert was really hard of getting through. Because I think one of them was you had to have all 4 players survive. And that requires people who aren't terrible at it. Yeah. So that made it tough. But definitely the hardest achievements are some of the difficulty-based ones, like Modern Warfare 2, I think, the Mile High Club, finished the game on Veteran. That one was really tough. That's when you had to get out of the airplane.
Yes.
That one was really hard to do on, Veteran. One of my favorite stories was Bladder of Steel and Rock Band 2. You had to play through the whole set list of all the songs on the disc without taking a break, without pausing.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, hang on.
There were like 70.
2, you said?
Rock Band 2.
Rock Band 2. Gotcha.
I think there were something like nearly 70 songs, and you had to play from start to end without failing, without pausing, without anything.
And you got it?
Yes. So I woke up early. I woke up early one morning. I think it took like 5 or 6 hours or something.
Okay.
Maybe under 5 hours. I don't remember. But you also couldn't hit like the guide button or start. So I had to make something to put over my controller to make sure I didn't accidentally turn it off. So I put like a box over my start and my guide button. And then I got halfway and I was doing the microphone and guitar, because I wanted to like kind of make sure I could have like the option of not screwing up on both. But I did it on like a little bit easier difficulty, like maybe hard on guitar and medium on vocals, which is super easy. But I had to pee halfway through it.
I was about to say, what do you do about that?
I finished a song that I know had a long outro, threw my guitar off, ran out the front door of my house and peed right around the corner, and then ran back in and to throw my guitar on and start the next song before you came in. So I like hurried, ran out of my house at like 7 a.m. and just peed in my front yard and then ran back in and started up again. So that one was like a fun, silly story.
Were you living with your parents when
I was on my own at the time, but it was still in my neighborhood, just out in the middle, going around the house, like out on my front door, pretty much. But another one that was that's tough on Dead Rising, the first one, you had 7-day survivor. That was the game mode where you just had to survive as long as possible, and your health depleted over time. So you had to go out and find the crazy people and kill them and to get more food. So there was a limited amount of food that spawned in the whole mall, and you had to that takes 14 hours to do, because each hour or each day or something is like 2 hours. So to survive for 7 days, you have to play for 14 hours straight. And now a lot of that time is just you have full health, so you go hide somewhere for 2 hours until you have to eat food again. And so you're like stockpiling food and stuff, but you also have to just wait for hours at a time.
So would you just leave and then come back?
I would just like turn it off and set an alarm and come back later and leave it running. And the other thing with that is there was a specific bug in that game where if you went to a certain area on a certain time of the day, it would freeze every time. So you had to know how to avoid that area on that date and time. Otherwise, your game would freeze and you would be back to square one. And it was like 7 hours in is where that would occur.
That's awful.
And then
some of these achievements just seem like, why would you make players go through this? Like, who comes up with these things? It's like, yeah, this is a good idea.
I think it's like you said, sometimes they want to make a game that is like really challenging and gives you another task to do. So I think some people like to put in like kind of complicated tasks or things to try, or maybe they're just trying to troll players and be like, all right, do this, whatever. Can you imagine if they had like achievements back when they had that Final Fantasy game where you had to dodge the lightning bolt for 1,000 times? I don't know if you remember that. It might have been, I think, Final Fantasy 8 or 9 or 10 or something like that.
I only started playing the most recent one.
So one of them, to get the ultimate weapons, you had to go do all these stupid tasks like chocobo racing, and one of them was like, I don't know, whatever, someone knows. But you had to stand in the field and dodge the lightning bolts and hit X every time. And it was like 1,000 times in a row. And so if they had achievements back then, that would have been an achievement. And that would have been infuriating.
Wow.
Because that's just a pain and it's very tedious. So I don't know. It's once I started completing games, I was just like, well, I got to go complete more games. And then sometimes I would almost not buy games if I knew they had really and crazy difficult achievements.
Like, this is not going to be 100% for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I had another game. I quit Mass Effect 3 from getting all 1,000 because one of those achievements was get 5,000 kills throughout the game. So multiplayer, single player, whatever. I was playing through that, and then somehow, since your profile saved online, mine got erased. So I lost my progress after I'd already run through the game once and played a ton of multiplayer online. So it's like, now I got to start over and do 30 more hours of kills to get 5,000 or something. And I was like, forget it. I was like, I'm taking a break on that one.
That's awful.
Man.
And some of the really hard ones are just kind of situational too. Like Halo 3, they do a mix of kind of campaign-based and multiplayer-based achievements. Some of those are like really difficult to get. I think there was an achievement for, in multiplayer, getting a like perfectionist or whatever.
Yeah.
15 kills, no deaths in a multiplayer game. I think that was one that I boosted.
Yeah.
But then another one was get 2 kills in a multiplayer match with the Spartan laser. So very situational. You have to be on a map that has a Spartan laser, and you got to be in a free-for-all game type almost, because most of the time you're not going to have 2 enemies at the same time. Or Spartan laser someone when they're jacking another vehicle, because then there's 2 people on the vehicle and it kills both of them. I got that one by the one map that was outside in the snow, you go inside down in the tunnels and there's a Spartan laser there. So I picked up the laser and start charging it because everyone goes in the middle. So I go around the corner, there's two people fighting. I'm like, fire. And so it went off and I killed both of them. And I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. And like every time I'd play that map, I would go grab the laser and start charging it and hope someone was there. And like 90% of the time I go and it's charged and there's no one in there. I'm like, crap. That was a waste.
That's awful.
But, that makes it a fun like experience too. And then, recorded the clip so that I've got that. And, but that's just completely random. So a lot of times if it's maybe just an achievement that is almost unattainable under most normal circumstances.
Yeah. So, Austin, you got some more. Yeah. I want to hear some of these other people, what they got to say.
So Tim Chin W said, I hate leaving secrets behind. With achievements, I'll know what I'm missing. Without them, I don't. And the Bads Glenn said, I think digital achievement trophies, whatever, are silly. But then I always play on the hardest setting because anything less feels too easy. What's fun for some is another silly achievement.
Yeah.
Or is what's fun for some is another silly achievement. So yeah, like Devin, he likes to play on the hardest. Yeah. Right. Or he doesn't play normal, he plays hard and he goes up from there. He feels like normal or easy is just not worth the time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like when I played Uncharted 4, I went through half the game on normal, and even that, like some of the gunplay, some of the missions was just like too much. I was like, you know what? I want to play this with a story, very cinematic. So I went to easy, and even that was actually pretty challenging.
Yeah. I just play everything on easy.
Yeah.
I like it that way.
Especially if, me and Brett are trying to run through these games as much as possible just to like
see as many in review and give them all a shake. So that makes it hard. It's really difficult to do that. One of the things that I think helps sometimes if you do achievement hunting is play through the campaign on a normal difficulty first, so you can find all the little collectibles and all that stuff, understand the game, get the mechanics, and then go through on the hardest difficulty they have achievements for, so that you kind of limit your playthroughs and kind of maximize your time and effort. But it still can take a long time.
Yeah.
Do you have like a number that's like the highest amount you've played a game over again just to reach the 100%? Like, do you think you've ever played a game all the way through like more than 10 times?
I can't. I'm trying to think of which ones offhand that really require you to go through a few times. I think Mass Effect had one where you had to go through multiple playthroughs.
Gotcha.
Because I think you had to play each class on one of those, or get to a certain level. I know that like Dragon Age Origins had one of those ones had a rough achievement where you had to get to like a really high level multiple times. But usually you just try to find ways that don't waste your time.
So I wonder if this is where speedrunning came through. Because I can see like after a few playthroughs, you're like, oh, I know if I do this, I'll get to this level in like 5 minutes. Compared to 20.
The speed playthroughs and then also kind of the collectible guides and things like that are just the side content. But definitely the speed, learning how to play through a game quickly, and especially if you do try to collect everything, when I just was playing God of War recently, and the difficult thing there is parts of that game unlock at certain stages of the game. So there's a fine line to knowing at which point do you have access to almost everything in the game to where you can go and collect everything. Because otherwise you're just going back and forth to the same areas you've been to 1,000 times. Just waste time. It's good for a gameplay mechanic because you're getting more time out of the game. But, you could always just plow through the story up to a certain point. It's like the next to last mission, then go and run and find everything and then finish the game.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up everything we got for achievement hunting.
This was a good discussion.
It was. Yeah. There's a lot. I feel like you go on for hours with this stuff, especially if you've been playing it for a long time. But obviously like achievements clearly make you stay in the game longer, explore the world more, all those kinds of things. So it's really interesting to see like how they've evolved over the years and expanded, and we'll see with all these new shared world games like what kind of achievements they introduce to the game, and now they're like part of the game to you buy a battle pass now and you got achievements that come with that stuff. So like there's a whole another part of that whole scenario.
Spend $1,000 with EA and you get it at the top achievement.
You win everything. You get 10,000 gamer score. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think of achievements. Leave a message in the comments if you have a really hard achievement that you've gone through that you're like, this was insane, or like a weird one, or just if you like achievements or not, why or why not, let us know. And that's going to wrap up our discussion topic this week. So if there's a topic you want to hear us talk about, you should email us at hello@theinnergamer.net, and we will talk about it in a future episode. In addition, don't forget to check out our video clips of this segment every Thursday at youtube.com/theinnergamer. We'll also be releasing the full episode of this at some point in time on YouTube as well. If you donate $3 or more to Patreon, you can get early access to all these videos. So go to patreon.com/theinnergamer, and you can get some early access to the full discussion topic and a bunch of other stuff. So check that out.
Great value.
Great value. Yes. It's like better than great value from Walmart. Like,
exactly.
It's awesome. So
that's more.
That's going to be it with us. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Head on over to theinnergamer.net for our full podcast episode for our weekly game impressions and top headlines of the week.
That's one of me doing an interview. There's one of all of us. We'll mix some cool
things.
Brett's also right here.
Like this video, subscribe, keep up with all the latest video game news and opinions that you care about right here on The Inner Gamer.